Hello, we are Geeks Assembled, and today we're starting differently. Today we are asking you to subscribe to the channel, please. We're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Please just subscribe to the channel because we're desperate to have members now. I'll do all this at the end as well, but please subscribe and press the bell on the YouTube channel so you get notification of the videos. And right, ding, there we go. Right, today we will be discussing a 2020 movie, one of the few movies what was released last year in the world of cinema because of the ongoing COVID crisis. There wasn't that many movies released. This is a Christopher Nolan action thriller, shall we call it that? Of course, we're talking Tenet. This one I think is going to be a bit divisive. So, without further ado, we'll go with opening thoughts. Now, I'm going to miss Connor out first. So, I'm going to go with Craig and David.
Ooh, come on, Craig.
What's your opening thoughts on?
Opening thoughts. I watched this at IMAX in central London, and I remember this film quite well because of the bill that it came to, which was about 45 quid. I nearly had a heart attack. That was, and then I said to my mate, I said, "Look, I'll pay for the food after," because we weren't even on a date, so I couldn't even pay him in kind, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I've got very fond memories of this. But what a film! I mean, it blew me away. I mean, literally. It was just something totally different. I've not seen the stuff that was in the film like that before. However, I feel like it was like my opening thoughts would probably be that it was probably a very big prequel. And I'm hoping that the next one will be better. And that's my thought.
I'm just saying, maybe like in the movie, you could have gone back in time and only paid 2 and 6 to go in, or something like that.
If I could go back in time, I would have just watched it in 2D.
Yeah, we could have gone back in time and watched it on the TV.
Or use one of Lee's links.
Yeah, exactly. But Christopher Nolan's just a bloody genius. He's a genius.
Yeah, he is one of my favourite directors, I think. And Robert Pattinson, I mean, he came into his own now. Because I thought, I wasn't sure about him as Batman, I've got to be honest with him. Now that I saw this film, and the other guy, the black dude, he could be a perfect James Bond if they wanted, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Just a really strange movie, I love the way it slipped in and out all the time, and it's kind of played down the special effects a little bit, and actually rely more on the acting qualities, which is good because a lot of movies like bend towards the CGI, hoping that'll pull it through and sell seats and that, I think it's nice to see a movie with a great plot.
Over to you, Lee.
Thank you. Yeah, that black dude, Craig, is John David Washington, Denzel's son.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm rubbish at names.
Well, yeah. Let's go to Kevin.
Well, when I saw during this Corona time, I saw the prologue probably 5 times already, 6 times, I think. Because all the Christopher Nolan movies were re-released back in the cinemas. Dark Knight Rises. It was also before Inception and The Rise of Skywalker. That isn't, by the way, a Christopher Nolan movie. It's by Jar Jar Abrams. But anyhow, when this movie started, I already knew the beginning, but it was very different. The score, I have to get 10 points for that, because that score is really original. It's really like I almost thought that Hans Zimmer did it himself, but it was Ludwig. Somewhere with Ludwig. But he also did the score for Mandalorian, and John David Washington was his name, I think. Yeah. he was good, but his character is called the protagonist. Not really anything more. So what this movie really lacks, I think, is character development in some scenes. That's the only complaint I can really have, because some people complain about the sound. Well, sometimes it was really bloody loud, like a lot. And there were some scenes that you had to watch that movie twice to understand what was happening. So yeah, I really enjoyed this one, but it isn't as bad as people saying that it is. But, I have a theory. What if you go, what if you get to the toilet and then go back in time in Tenet way? Does that mean everything goes back in there?
Well, yeah. We'll get to that in a bit. Anything else, Kevin, before we move on?
Well, Pattinson was good, and not Keith Sutherland. What is that? That played Sator.
Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, I never read it. Yeah, he was good, only with his Russian accent. It was sometimes funny. But yeah, I think Robert Pattinson is going to be a good Batman after this one.
We shall see.
But that's my thoughts for now.
Okay, thanks for that, Kevin. We'll move over to Susan. What's your opening thoughts on Tenet?
Well, the idea, the concept, the conceptual matrix of reversing temporal technology is interesting. It really is. It made for a beautiful sort of A-roll, B-roll, because when you do A-roll and B-roll, they're running different directions, and so usually you run them together like this, and then this time both were running this way. So that was really intriguing. It was a great method of filmmaking, and my gosh, I really enjoyed the interplay between protagonist and what's his name, and Neil, and then also the protagonist in Crosby, played by Michael Caine. And it was sort of like a little bit like the Italian Job, only it was which also starred Michael Caine, which was it was fun because it was sort of its own kind of little heist and its own kind of little thing, and of course Washington was freaking amazing as protagonist. He didn't really need to be developed much because the story was abstract enough and obtuse enough so that you didn't need a huge amount of development. The development was in what's her name, Kat, and her son Max, and Sator, and like that. It was funny because like you figured Kat was actually like it was a bit like a power play, like an S&M kind of power play, like a between Sator and Kat, and they really drew that out brilliantly, especially at the end when instead of allowing him to jump to his death with the pill in his mouth, she shoots him. And so like that was really good. The other thing that was really intriguing about this movie was the pacing. It was because it was running two directions at the same time. I was like, oh my gosh, you just because the pacing was so fast, it didn't give you a chance to sort of like get disoriented with the reversing. I enjoyed that. Let's see. Another thing that was great was as Kevin had said, the score was pretty sweet, and yeah, I really enjoyed yeah, I think the special effects were practical special effects um were great and really fun to watch. And so yeah, that's my opening thoughts. Can't wait to tell you what my favorite bits were. Okay, over
Thank
to
you,
you,
sir.
Lee.
Okay, thanks for that. Right, here we go. Here is Connor Farley, the number one Christopher Nolan fan.
Yay!
Yeah, okay, I'll take that.
And he's on first name terms with him as well.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie at all, to be honest.
He's a diehard fan.
I'm a
Literally
diehard,
diehard fan.
I am a diehard fan of Christopher Nolan. I will give him that. Yeah, it's not a bad movie at all. Actually, it's Christopher Nolan's take on James Bond. I feel in many ways it is a spy thriller by genre. Robert Pattinson is by far my favorite part of this film. I knew before, because I'd seen some of his indie films, that he was going to make a good Batman. I now know that he's going to make an amazing Bruce Wayne, because there's something very Bruce Wayne about Neil. And I actually think that he should have been the lead. John David Washington is a good actor. I do like John David Washington and everything I've seen him in. But he's sometimes a bit like cardboard. I found his character to be like cardboard in many scenes. And I thought that Robert Pattinson was always the one that you found yourself watching more, because he just has more emotional range. He's just a better actor. It's like you think that, oh, John David Washington is going to blow it away. He's going to be the best actor in the scene. Then you get to actually shooting the thing and you find out, oh no, shit, the co-lead's stealing it in every scene. And then it's a problem, but you can't replace John David Washington by that point. But I will say, I think if it was intentional, and which I think it was, and he was playing it straight, where he wasn't giving much emotion away, by that respect, John David Washington would make a good Bond. But he's not the best of the cast. I must admit, it would be Robert Pattinson. You've got, as people have mentioned, Michael Caine, Kenneth Branagh, Elizabeth Debicki. You've got Aaron Taylor Johnson in there as the army dude that leads the assault at the end. You've got all these big actors, and they're all used really well. Kenneth Branagh, who I know he's played a few villains in his time, but I'm not used to seeing him as a villain. And I know that he's played a Russian villain before. He suits Russian really well for some bizarre reason. And I thought he was really good as Sator. He was very, he was very dark, and there was some scenes where you have to wince at what he does. Like when he got the belt out and he was gonna beat the shit out of Cat with the belt, but he didn't, because John David Washington was literally around the corner. He was really menacing. The action was incredible. It was probably the most difficult film action-wise for him to film, Christopher Nolan. But it had the best action scenes, I think, in any of his films, particularly that plane crash, which was an actual Boeing plane. He didn't CGI any of that. That was real, which is insane to think about, because how do you get a plane like that for a start? That someone is just going to say, oh yeah, you can crash that. You can crash that into an airport hangar, no problem. The film was beautiful. I loved all the locations. What was it, Mumbai, or was it Delhi? I can't remember which one it was, but the Indian.
Mumbai.
Was it Mumbai? Yeah. Where they're scaling the big high-rise tower, and then they jump off it again, which again was not CGI or anything. That was actually John David Washington and Robert Pattinson doing that. They didn't even get stunt doubles for that. it's incredible what he put them through. Yeah, it was a proper James Bond film. Would I want to see Christopher Nolan do an actual James Bond film after this? Yeah, because I want to see him do it more traditional. But if this was the only spy thriller he was ever to do, I'd be satisfied. The score by Ludwig Göransson is unbelievable. Yeah. I would like him to work with Nolan again, but will he? Because Zimmer might be free next time. I don't know. But yeah, Ludwig Göransson, who is now getting nominated for awards for it, is probably going to win some awards for it as well. Yeah, phenomenal score. In the cinema, if you were I would say you were lucky to see it in the cinema. In the cinema, yeah, the score was it was overpowering, but it added to it for sure, because it was just that bass was so loud. There was some difficulty, and I'm not sure if the people that have seen it on cam copies since, or 4K or Blu-ray copies of it, have the same audio problems that me and Kevin did in the cinema, and possibly Craig as well. But
Did you see it? Did you see it in IMAX?
Yeah,
yes,
I saw it
twice. I
Yeah.
saw it twice IMAX. Woo.
I didn't have an issue with the sound. It was beautiful. It was all right.
Powerful.
Did you not?
Whereas,
Well,
I saw what did I see? I saw the Labyrinth remastered, and I thought my ears were going to bleed. It was so noisy. It was like I wanted to get out of the cinema. But for this one, it was pretty good audio. Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of the
It depends. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the problems a lot of people had was that you couldn't hear the audio, you couldn't hear the dialogue of the music. So it wasn't so much a case of it was too loud. It was that the music was too overpowering, and the sound mix was off. But Christopher Nolan said, deal with it. He's not going to change it. He had actually exactly the same problem for The Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight Rises.
With Bane.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a little bit overpowering in the cinema. I would like to watch it again with the kind of where I'm able to not have as good as speakers, and see if it tones down the music a bit so I can hear the dialogue, because some of the dialogue, it's an exposition heavy film, because they're explaining the temporal pincer movement and everything like that, and you've got to kind of hear the dialogue to understand it. The final 45 minutes is Christopher Nolan doing a war film, more so a war film than Dunkirk was, and that is incredible. The score was incredible. When I think they reached the 5-minute mark on the watch, and the building explodes, the bazooka, the building, and it kind of, I think it goes back up again, and then it kind of stops for a second, and then the bazooka hits it, and then it explodes again and falls. But that is, I don't know how he did most of the camera work on this, but if you also, in that very same scene, kind of look around, you can see like the smoke going back into its place of origin and stuff like that. It's unbelievable how much attention to detail is put into just this concept of moving time forwards and then backwards again. Even the scenes where you've got the men moving around and suddenly a piece of wall hits them and kills them because they get stuck in the wall or something like that. It's mental. But it's got some of the best action of any Nolan film, I think, in any blockbuster recently. It's interesting to watch. Do I think it's at the point where Nolan might be going too far up his own arse, as Lee would say? Yeah, it's possible. He's getting to the point where it could be unaccessible for the general audience now. But, I mean, this is his last film with Warner Brothers now. He might now not get a studio that gives him as much of a budget, so he might have to tone it down. So who knows what we'll see from his next one. But yeah, that's my opening thoughts.
You can always count on Connor with his opening thoughts. Was it 20 minutes later? No, he loves Christopher Nolan, so we let him go on a bit. Right. Look, I disagree with everything you lot have said. This is a steaming pile of shit. I'm sorry. It really is. And and as Connor said, yes, Christopher Nolan is disappearing up his own ring piece. John David Washington, yeah, he's so dull. I agree with what Connor says. He's just like cardboard. Robert Pattinson, yes, I was watching him more than I was supposed to be watching the lead. The reversing of time, backwards and forwards of the film, that was being done in 1989 on an episode of Red Dwarf called Backwards, and they did it far better than they did in this movie. So, and going back to when Kevin asked about going to the toilet, if you watch that episode of Red Dwarf, and Cat goes behind the bushes to go for a crap, you'll yes. It the only good thing about, I mean, the scenery, I love the scenery, the shot, the places they shot it in was brilliant. But for me, what made this movie was Kenneth Branagh. He was a brilliant. He's a brilliant actor anyway, but he was a brilliant villain. I'm voting for him to be the next Bond villain. And I agree with what Connor said. This could be his pitch for doing a Bond, Nolan. Yes, it did. It felt like Bond with added science fiction. Stunts, yeah, the stunts were brilliant, but it was just a steaming pile of crap, to be honest. Nearly 3 hours long. What it was, I don't know. I will pay good money to go and watch this. Sorry. How did he sell it to these people? Was it money talks? Yeah, we'll get Michael Caine in for 5 minutes. We'll get Kenneth Branagh. Here's a bit of money. I know the story's shite, but I mean, it wasn't even explained, really, was it? Oh, yeah, we'll just jump in these turntables and it reverses time. What? What? Sorry. Load of crap. Anyways, shall we go to favourite moments? The things you didn't like? Susan.
The things that I liked about it, I really liked the car crash, the car chase scene with reversing cars. That was incredible to me. I mean, I've seen a million billion car chases, and I really like this one because of the reversing thing. And the other thing I really liked was the bit on the boat with Sator and Kat, and their sort of Ursat's S&M relationship, his control and her eventual domination of him. That was fun. That was really quite enjoyable. And the fact that they didn't have the child there for most of that was a good choice. Good choice on Nolan's part. And let's see, I loved seeing Robert Pattinson doing great things. I've enjoyed his stuff pretty much all the way along. Let's see. And Washington was enjoyable, especially in when he is when the cryptic nature of the conversations that they were having made it made it challenging to really get what was going on. And I haven't seen it more. This is my first time seeing this, and so I'm not entirely sure what exactly I have seen, but I will go back and watch it again. I enjoyed it though. It was good, and yeah. So those are my favorite moments. And let's see, stuff that I didn't like. I don't really know enough about what's really going on to not really like something. I'm just more confused. And so yeah, but I could immediately see what they did with the film. Like they had portions that were A roll, portions that were B roll that are usually run like this, and instead they're run together. And so that's just really interesting, and makes for a really interesting filmic technique. And so yeah, back over to you, Lee. Or maybe I should have said that first. Back over to you, Lee.
Well, it's back over to me now. Who shall we go with now? Kevin.
I had to laugh at your overview.
Oh, well, I haven't finished yet. Yeah, carry on.
Where was I? Oh yeah, the opening scene is one of my favorite scenes. That scene is just wow. So that scene is very well done. You have to really look. And in the second time you watch it, you see stuff that you didn't see, like the orange pin. So actually, Neil saved the protagonist at that opera house. But anyway, there's a theory going around that Neil is Max from the future. I think that's more believable, but who knows? But yeah, there were some things like the car chase scene was very well done, and Kenneth Branagh as the villain was really terrifying at times, even with when he had the red light on him. The scene with the airplane is there are some cameos inside. Michael Caine. He's only did one scene. Like, I know you like the guy, but he's only like there. Hey, I'm here for 5 minutes to tell you to go to this place and then go to that place. Expedition. For the IMAX scenes, I would give it a 10 because those were really well shot. And they're on the Blu-ray as well and the DVD, I think, and the 4K. Anyhow, the ending was also good with the whole war thing, people going backwards, people going forward. That was an awesome scene, really it was. But yeah, story-wise, I got a headache first time I watched it, like a big headache. And then the second time, I didn't, but so I recommend people to watch it twice if you like it. Really, you should watch it twice.
I didn't get a headache, Kevin. I just was a little confused about certain situations and certain instances. So, but no headaches here.
No, I know. But that scene with the protagonist, that was good. Let's see when he was fighting the protagonist, I think. And then Neil saw his face and was like, I didn't tell you anything because I'm going to meet you in the future sometime.
That was so obvious it was him.
Yeah.
It was so obvious. You could see it was him. And as soon as he took the mask off, you didn't see who it was. But as soon as he ran away, you knew it was either going to be him or the protagonist. Straight away. So it wasn't really didn't take some wacky.
No, not really detective work. But the score is very good, really. The bass in that scene, like If you want to blow up your subwoofer, if you hate your subwoofer, use that movie and it will blow, really. So yeah, I think there is maybe going to be a sequel. They can make a sequel.
God, I hope not.
No, but anyhow, yeah, those were my favorite moments.
Right. Okay. Let's go to Craig and David, and then we'll leave Connor to last again because I just like making him wait.
I totally agree with everything that Susan and Kevin said. Actually, I forgot to mention the score is amazing as usual from what's his face. And is it Hans Zimmer? Hans Zimmer?
No, it was Ludwig Göransson this time.
That's it. That's the one. And I quite like the scene where they were fighting and he was in a police costume with a helmet on and whatever, and you couldn't see who he was fighting against. And then the reveal at the end, the reveal was just brilliant. I love that section of the film was just fantastic, and it's led me wanting more because I want to know what the fucking hell's going on, and I want it's got to be a follow-on and to explain everything that confused the hell out of me in this movie, and hopefully it will make more sense in the next one. But even the car chases, like, reminded me of what's that film with Keanu Reeves in it, The Matrix, Part 2, where they're having a big car chase sort of thing. It was really cool. And,
that was another one of those.
Yeah, and then what? Totally, and oh, my mind's gone blank now.
He's gone back in time.
Sorry.
Just walking with a stick, will you?
Sequels. And the baddie gets killed and chopped off the side of the boat. That was brilliant. I was waiting nearly 3 hours for something bad to happen to the Mr. Domestic Violence of the Year award. Do you know what I mean? So that was a really good comeuppance, man. I would have liked him to go through like a meat grinder or something, but you know.
Well, they did drag him behind the boat.
Yeah, he died, so it was good, you know. But or did he die? Is he going to turn up in the next one? You know what I mean? I don't know this film, so
slip through the loop.
Yeah. But
You know, if there is a sequel, you know Robert Pattinson's going to be, because it's all about time travel.
I know Jodie Whittaker's going to be in it, Lee. You gonna watch it?
No.
So
his first line is going to be
what Kevin said about it being a war film at the end, the last 45 minutes. It was just
a lot like Saving Private Ryan.
Phenomenal. That was right. It was like, it was really good, really good.
Well,
And I still don't even know what Tenet means. I'm sure it means
what does
something,
Tenet mean? Tenet.
It means 10 minutes forward, 10 minutes backwards. I think that was. That was right.
Is that
5 minutes forward, 5?
Yeah, TENET.
Yeah, because
you'd never be late for work again, would you? You know what I mean?
No, it was the name of the agency. I think it was the name of the agency that they were working under.
Yeah. Wasn't it the 10 different parts of the what's it called?
Module.
The algorithm?
No, it was the group. It was the group they were working for.
But there were 10 parts.
You mean the big stick?
You see, this is it. This movie is so confused. Nobody knows what it was about or why it was called Tenet.
It was.
But that's why I like it, because it left me with more questions, and I kind of like films that question you. And I think this film is it's probably revolutionized film now, because there's other directors thinking, what can we do that's better or different? And I mean, imagine all the film school kids now. They're probably making their own Tenet type movies and things. It's revolutionized the film industry, I think, but we'll see. The time will tell. Sylvester McCoy.
It's a paradox. The whole thing's a, and I don't, I think that sounded good. I saw fucking Led Zeppelin. That was loud. I saw the Pixies live. Look, that was loud. I've got vertigo and tinnitus now, so, but it's worth it.
Well, yeah, I saw Jimmy Page and Robert Plant, but I also saw Pink Floyd on the same stage.
Oh, and that was loudly.
That was loud. So, but are you two finished? Shall I move on to Connor?
I think
What?
Connor.
Done with this fucking movie.
Let's get with you, Connor. Let's see what you have to say.
It's brilliant.
We'll be back in 20 minutes.
Yeah, no problem. Well, I don't have any favourite moments. Over to Lee.
What? No, not allowed.
No, I forgot to mention that it's my favourite opening for a Nolan film. I love the opera scene. I think all the action scenes really were my favourite bits. And yeah, I can't fault the action scenes. And I think everything in between felt a bit like filler in a way, because it was so exposition heavy that there's nothing really happened in between all the action scenes. There was like 5 main action scenes in it. And they were all great. Yeah, the opera house scene, which Robert Pattinson was in, but I didn't even know until about 2 days later when I thought about it again. And you saw the orange tag on the guy's backpack when he saved John David Washington, the protagonist in the opera house. Yeah, and then obviously you've got the plane crash. Now, my pick, seeing as Jodie Whittaker is going to be leaving now, I don't even need an official announcement to know that. So my pick for the next Doctor is in this film. Himesh Patel, who played the pilot of the plane, is my pick for the next Doctor. Because
was he the one who was in the speedboat as well?
Yeah, and he was in Danny Boyle's Yesterday.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, he's a great actor. He does quirky really well. He started out in EastEnders. He's my pick for the next Doctor. So I think, yeah, it's kind of just reinforced my my kind of reasoning for picking him. I love the plane crash. I think everything, like the score, the way that they set it up, when it's kind of, they've got that shot where it's coming through the car park and it's like it's head on. It's just so well shot, and the fact that he actually did it authentically without any CGI as well just kind of adds to it. Then you've got the fighting. The hand-to-hand combat in the corridors, that was great. I loved all the flips and everything like that, even though, yes, it was very predictable that it was John David Washington just by the look on Robert Pattinson's face. Like you saw a ghost. That was, I think Christopher Nolan probably said, look like you've seen a ghost, because you have. And he just nailed it. And the risk, what you were running, the risk of making it look predictable, and it was. But I kind of love how that whole plane crash scene is the centerpiece for the film, because that's where they go back to.
Yeah.
For the reverse to happen. And then obviously, you've got all the stuff with the war scene at the end. The shot of the helicopters. Now, he must have watched Apocalypse Now at some point before watching this, before filming this, because when the helicopters go to the I can't remember the name of the abandoned city in Russia that it was it took place in. and the scene in Apocalypse Now with the Rise of the Valkyrie, when that starts playing, that reminded me of that. And it was just so well shot. And then you saw, even then, the attention to detail that I was talking about earlier, with the smoke and the everything, just it was reversing on itself, and it was just so well shot. I did like the twist that he was the guy that started everything. He was the beginning. He was the beginning and the end. In many ways. Robert Pattinson as Max. I know that theory, and I'm not sure, but it would be good. One of my favorite scenes, actually, I think it was the funniest scene in the film, was the fight in the kitchen, where he took a guy out with a cheese grater.
Yeah.
And it was gruesome. He hit him over the face. He proper gorged into his skin with that cheese grater. That was brutal. That was awful. You didn't see any of the kind of gory detail of it, but it was all there to see. It was pretty radical for a fucking secret agent, I must admit.
Want some mayonnaise on it?
That could be a Batman reference, because the Riddler kills someone with a kettle in Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
and he said caffeine will kill you.
Yeah, it could have been.
Or like, why did you say that name?
Yeah, I can't believe he just took someone out with a cheese grater. That was just unbelievable. But
some special human meat for a restaurant.
Fuck. I know it's.
Here are some delicious human appetites from our spy that just killed a man.
No, it was a little bit grounded in reality as well, because the scientist that created the device was based around Oppenheimer, who created the atomic bomb in 1945 that ended the Second World War.
They talk about the Manhattan Project in the movie a lot.
Yeah, and I did like how it kind of, because I think in many ways, while it is a spy thriller, this film is kind of an apocalypse film as well, because there is an apocalyptic aspect to how time works in this. Like it's the end of time almost. And he's saving the world. And yeah, to kind of relate it to Oppenheimer and the Manhattan Project as well was great. No one's mentioned actually, and I do think I didn't expect her to play a major part in it like she did, but the little known Indian actress, well, apparently she's really famous in India, but Dimple Kapadia, she was great as Priya. And it was kind of, and when John David Washington killed her at the end, I guess it was to keep her silence. I can't exactly remember the reason why he killed her. Yeah, that was intense. She had all the answers, clearly, but she wasn't very cooperative. But yeah, I think that it was based around the action scenes. It was a film. It was him doing James Bond, but he wanted to do action, not the
science fiction.
Yeah, and science fiction, not everything in between. But yeah, great action.
Ending was good, I think.
I agree.
Yelly, we all know what you're going to say. It's shite.
I agree. The action scenes were fine. They were shot well, but I agree with what Connor says. In between the action scenes, it's just filler. It's the sound quality at the beginning of the movie, it was worse in the opera section when you couldn't hear what the character, the characters were saying because of the masks, and the music was too loud. And you sort of got that problem as well when it was nearer the end with the, everything was blowing up and everything. You just couldn't hear what what people were saying. Yeah, I agree that the airplane scene shot well, but I don't know. It was just a lot of tosh. It was. Sorry, it was. I don't know. As I say, predictable that you was meeting future selves or past selves, going backwards and forwards. It was never explained of how they could do this. Pattinson, yeah, great actor. I've liked him in all those other movies he's done. But for me, as I said, Branagh was just, he oozed evil in this, and that's what I like. A good actor can play a good, really bad, good villain sort of thing. But yeah, I won't be watching this for a hell of a long time. I don't know if this ever gets shown on TV, this movie. God help all the people who watch it, then they won't know with all the adverts in between.
I don't get it.
So, yeah. Oh, there's another advert. What happened 5 minutes before the adverts came on?
Good question. I answered later.
Final say.
Final say. Okay, who's going to be first? Connor, Lee.
Yeah. Final say.
Susan.
Go on then, Kevin. Kevin.
Oh well, me. I'm going to give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Kevin isn't.
Yeah, I don't know who I am
8
anymore.
out of 10.
8 out of 10, yeah.
Right. Okay, thank you, Kevin. Now we'll go to Susan.
All right. I went and I did a quick search, and what I got it wrong. A and B rolls are usually run parallel to each other. It's a linear editing format. It's just that this time they rolled it like this. Mm-hmm. And they did matte cutouts and things like that to make sure that it worked really well, and it really did work quite well. And I mean, I know that they did it digitally and stuff, so really amazing work and editing job. Let's see, the sound quality was not bad because I watched it online, and it was it was decent. Like the range wasn't quite as intense as what must have been in a theater or watching on a Blu-ray with a decent sound system. So it just was normal, and so I was able to understand pretty much. The confusing bits for me ended up being the things like what was the real meaning behind it, and where was this technology and the science fiction based on the technology, and why it looked like little nuclear piles in little cases and stuff like that. So those basic things were the confusing bits. And I guess what Tenet means, because none of us could agree on what it really means. So anyway, the word means. So great idea to watch this movie, and I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. And I do enjoy a Christopher Nolan film. My enjoyment of Dark Knight Rises doesn't just end with Tom Conti in there. It is a really good movie. And so, yeah, I'm going to, but we'll get to that when we get to that movie. Anyway, let me just pass it back to Lee and say, yeah, well, my opening thoughts are, And there we go.
Well, I can't believe there's up to now two high scores for this pile of poop. Craig and David.
Susan has worded it beautifully how I would have said it wrongly and all over the place. So I'm gonna give this a big fat steaming turd 10 out of 10 just to piss Lee off.
No, I think 10.
It takes more.
10,
It was a really big one and it felt great when it came out.
10 tenants out of 10 landlords. 10 tenants, 10 landlords.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow.
Was that a really big one?
When they were going to drop the bomb, they were testing out the bomb at Trinity. They were taking these effing scientists were saying they were taking bets with whether it was going to incinerate the atmosphere. That's why I don't like scientists.
But Susan, I don't know if Susan or Kevin will know this. There's an X-Files episode where there's like time being displaced and then the soldiers' body parts get stuck in rocks and stuff.
Alex just got me the whole X-File up to season 9. So if it's in that first 9 seasons, when we get rolling in our binge, we will we'll hit it. I haven't seen it. I have not.
Because there could be even some little nods to Kubrick's
to
Doctor Strange
Love,
maybe as well with this whole nuclear business.
I mean,
there you go.
Doctor Strange movie.
That's the paradox, human beings are mad. Why do we get dropped off on this planet?
That's a question.
Ours wouldn't have us.
Over to Connor.
I'm not certain what it gets. It gets something between an 8 and a 10 from me. Thank you very much.
I know, but can we just point out, Connor is now sat in his official chair. Because, usually he's just lounging on the bed.
Yeah, I'm usually lounging on the bed, but now that I've got a home office because of coronavirus, thanks very much, coronavirus, I'm now sat in a chair. So, yeah. Thanks, coronavirus.
And does it make you feel more official when you're on the casts?
Yes, this chair now gets something between an 8 and a 10 also. Thank you, IKEA.
There's a plug. We're all becoming 3 chairs now. What can I say? I'm going to give this...
In one.
I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10 for Kenneth Branagh's performance in this. He rocked. And it's going to get, for the whole movie, it's going to get 2 Teds out of 10 for effort.
Well, maybe I can change your mind here, because Kenneth Branagh said that this was one of the best films he ever made and worked on.
And did he understand it?
He did.
Yeah, he was on drugs.
It was on drugs, yeah. I mean, if you can understand Shakespeare, you can understand this, surely. Shakespeare's just a load of dog shit as well.
Yeah, but what you've got to realise is...
I bet Shakespeare couldn't write something forwards and backwards, could it?
No, Tenet, Shakespeare could never write Tenet.
I think Connor's gone off his
Romeo and Tenet.
Literally.
It's going to be called Tenor, but we could
Shakespeare is
spell.
the premier. Oh my God, I can't believe you just said that.
I know. Man. A Midsummer Night's Tenor.
Branagh is an awesome actor, but I'm sorry. Even the other actors in the movie said they couldn't understand what was going on.
Some actors.
Pattinson didn't even know what was going on.
Nobody knows what's going on, then you're onto something on a winner.
But yeah, this movie was not for me.
That's the good answer. It was not for you.
It was not for me, and if you guys out there are watching this, I won't even bother with it.
So can we watch Twilight since we've started watching Pattinson films?
Susan, go in.
Who knows? Why not? Why not make a rant movie about a rant review about Twilight?
I'm losing control here. Anyway, so we're done, aren't we now? That's it. Tenet. No more discussion on Tenet. Why did I call it Tenet?
I love Tenet.
We've still got about 5 other Christopher Nolan films to do.
Sequel's out soon.
Yeah. It's called Tenant versus Landlord.
You had that great movie Memento. You had that brilliant movie The Prestige.
Haven't seen it.
And then you get this.
Did he do Dunkirk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's brilliant.
Dunkirk was my favourite of his.
It's really genius,
Stressed me out, that movie.
Yeah.
Did. That musical score stressed me out.
Mm.
Oh shit, we're still doing Tenet. Sorry.
Hello. Did he do 1917?
Still here.
So we'll sign off now, shall we? We've talked about this from beginning to end, from roundabout, from front to back. We've done it. So I'd like to thank you again for watching Tenet and discussing this. I don't know what you can call it.
Great movie.
Yeah.
It was a shitstorm.
Yeah, that's
It was a load of dog shit.
What? Tenant! Tenant! Jeez, Robert!
Fanboy.
Yeah, the fan hit the shit. Tenant backwards.
but please, you guys out there, save me.
Lee, you sure you want us back next week?
Well, it depends. It all depends. But no, please, if you got this far, it depends if you watched it from the beginning of the video or you started it at the very end. It don't really matter because you'll make no head no tail of this either. Tenet. This is Tenet.
Yeah.
Geeks Assemble do Tenet.
It's the beginning of a great friendship.
And I think
Tenet on acid.
I think we could have taken Nolan, to be honest, because there is some sort of understanding in this group. As that movie there was just a lot. Anyways, I thought Connor was going to say something then.
No, he's been banned. He's not allowed.
I thought he was going to come
Nolan for president.
I thought he was going to come back with another Shakespearean.
Anyhow.
Well, I mean, Kenneth Branagh. Like, to base your rating off Kenneth Branagh, I just feel like
it's a lot on one man.
it is a lot on one. Be honest. Yeah.
I just thought his performance in this was brilliant.
Well, if he likes a villain, Lee is a villain, and he likes him like that.
Yeah.
But for me,
Frankenstein.
you know, a good villain, you have to have a good story and a good supporting other characters and actors, and to me, there wasn't. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah, please like and subscribe. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, and I already said this. I feel like
To be honest, I do have a confession. You
are Christopher Nolan.
There we go.
I think the bloody points. Come on.
Since kind of busting my balls for 6 months over this film last year, I have come to the understanding within my personal movie tastes that I'm not really that big a fan of Christopher Nolan anymore.
It's the horse shit.
You know when you hype something up to such a level that whatever happens afterwards, you just don't feel the same about any aspect of what you've just hyped up. I feel like that about Christopher Nolan.
I see.
Maybe,
But I still say bullshit.
maybe until the next film, when his next project is announced, maybe then I'll start to feel like a proper fanboy again of Christopher Nolan. But at the moment, I just don't. So I don't know.
Is he responding to letters?
I think you're just feeding us a line.
Are we
That
going
this
to
is
be,
some sort of backwards, reverse psychology shit.
it's going to
Yeah.
be called reverse orgasm.
I would just like to say hello. We are Geeks Assembled, and today we are discussing Tenet by Christopher Nolan. Tell us